AITA for kicking my boyfriend out after he told me to tone it down at a family dinner. I, 29F, have been dating my boyfriend, Ethan, 32M, for about a year. We recently moved in together, and while I love him, I've started to notice things that make me question our future. I come from a big, loud, affectionate family. We laugh a lot, we talk over each other, and we aren't afraid to tease one another. Ethan, on the other hand, comes from a much quieter, more reserved household. I knew we had different upbringings, but I didn't think it would be an issue. Until this past weekend. My parents invited us over for dinner. It was a typical night. Everyone was chatting, telling stories, and just enjoying themselves. At one point, my brother was making a joke about how I used to be obsessed with Twilight. I was Team Edward, obviously, and I was laughing, teasing him back. The whole room was full of energy. That's when Ethan leaned over and whispered in my ear, "Can you tone it down? You're being kind of embarrassing." I froze. I felt like someone had poured ice water over me. Embarrassing? I wasn't drunk, I wasn't being obnoxious, I was just being myself. I kept my composure through dinner, but the second we got home, I lost it. I asked him what the hell he meant, and he sighed like I was being dramatic. He said I was too loud, and that it was cringe how I got so overly animated. He told me I should work on it because it's not attractive. At that moment, something in me broke. I told him if he found me so embarrassing, he didn't have to be around me. I grabbed his bag, tossed it at him, and told him to go stay somewhere else until he figured out whether or not he could accept me for who I am. He was stunned. He kept saying I was overreacting and that I was taking it way too personally. But that's the thing, it is personal. He wasn't asking me to be mindful in a serious situation. He was telling me to shrink myself down because my personality embarrassed him. He left that night and has been texting me since, saying we need to talk. My mom thinks I was right to stand up for myself, but a friend told me I was too harsh and should have just talked it out. So, am I the A? Top 3 comments. Comment 1, 9,756 thumbs up. NTA, he didn't ask you to be mindful in a funeral. He asked you to stop being yourself at a dinner with your own family. That wasn't about volume, that was about control. I was in a relationship like this. It starts with little comments. You're a little too much sometimes. Do you have to talk so much? Why do you laugh so loud? And before you know it, you're second-guessing your every move. You start toning yourself down without even realizing it. You become a smaller version of yourself just to make them comfortable. If he's embarrassed by you at your happiest, he's not the right person for you. Comment 2, 4,862 thumbs up. This reminds me of my ex. He told me my laugh was annoying. I started covering my mouth when I laughed. Then he said my hand gestures were too much. So I started sitting on my hands when I spoke. It took me years to realize that I wasn't the problem. He just didn't love me as I was. Your boyfriend doesn't love you for who you are. He loves you for who he wants you to be. Comment 3, 8,421 thumbs up. This was not a misunderstanding. This was a preview of your future. If you stay with him, he will make you feel self-conscious about things that come naturally to you. Keep subtly criticizing you until you doubt yourself. Expect you to change while he stays exactly the same. Trust me, you did the right thing. Don't let him gaslight you into thinking you overreacted. You set a boundary, and he deserved it. Update from Op. I met with Ethan today. I thought maybe he'd apologize and say he didn't mean it like that. Instead, he doubled down and said he was just being honest and that he thought I was more mature than to react this way. I told him I wasn't interested in a relationship where I had to tone myself down. I broke up with him. Thank you all for the support. It made me realize I deserve to be with someone who actually likes me for who I am.